Some people have lived their life so far deep in the red that if they don't do something drastic, they will end up living like an ostrich, having their heads buried in the sand or creating their financial crises and abandoning it, and constantly running away from their problems in the hope that they will leave them behind. So let's have a look at 5 quick ways out of the red. Welcome back to Ira Living. Today we're going to be looking at 5 quick ways to get out of the red. So that's 5 quick ways to get out of the red. Now we're going to start off with number 1. And number 1 is awareness of your spending. Some people are going around and spending and they're unaware of how they're spending, how much they're spending, and where they're spending. You might want to go back and watch our video on is budget really necessary, and that will give you an idea of how to proportion your money so you can be aware of your spending. Now, another way that you can look at your spending is to make sure that you're monitoring your financial details from your bank statements, if you're one of those people who like to use your bank card and swipe as you go along, because it will help to give you a review of the different places that you've spent, the quantities that you've spent, so that you have a little bit of more of a handle on your money. However, the budgeting video would be a good way to help you to become a lot more aware of your spending so that you can take necessary actions to improve your spending in that regard. The reason for that is if you don't know how you're proportioning your money, you don't know where you're spending because you're not tracking your spending, and you don't audit your spending, then you are not giving yourself the privilege and the opportunity to then reflect, review, and make improvement to your spending. And therefore, you will continue to find yourself in the red, because oftentimes if you're not reviewing and reflecting, then the way in which you're spending isn't calculated, and therefore you're at a greater risk of slipping back into the red as soon as your paycheck comes in and clear it, if it even does. Number 2 way of quickly getting out of the red have to do with your shopping list. Now, one of the things that you need to do when you go shopping is to ensure that you have a shopping list. It's something that I would not go into the supermarket without having. It's the same way people say you should not go shopping on an empty stomach. It's the same way you should never walk into a supermarket or the market to go shopping without having a shopping list. Because the shopping list starts first and foremost from home, where you've done a stock inventory of what it is that you have in your cupboards, what it is that you have in your home, and therefore what you then need to stock up on because they are not there. It also starts at the point where you make a meal plan and you know exactly what your meals are going to be for that week or for that month based on how you shop, or for that fortnight. And those are the things that you're specifically going out to buy. And so that shopping list is paramount, because what it does is it puts you in a position to buy the things that are relevant, the things that you need, and then to take those home with you. And what that does is it minimizes the amount of things that ends up going spoiled and getting wasted. And that is your money that's being wasted. It also helps you to better work in a budget for your shopping expenses, because you're more conscious about the things you're buying and whether or not those things are absolutely necessary. The 3rd way to quickly get out of the red is to set a hardline spending. And what a hardline spending is, it can be done in several ways. So a hardline spending can be where you're challenging yourself that you're not going to spend anything outside of for the absolute necessities within a given period of time. Secondly, it could also be where you put a stop on buying certain things in certain categories. So it might be that you've decided that you're not going to buy any more shoes or any more clothing or any more jewelry for a set period of time, or whatever the thing is that you want to put a hardline stop on. The 3rd way in which you can do a hardline spending is where you decide that this is a set amount of money that you're going to be spending every month. And whenever that ceiling is reached, you stop spending. And therefore, it makes you a lot more conscious about what you're spending on and how you're spending, so that you're able to work within that budget to get the relevant things that you need. Can you think of any other creative ways that you can do hardline spending? If so, put them in the comments down below so that we can share them with our community. The 4th way to get out of the red really quickly is great indulgence. So what this is that oftentimes you find that people buy small little things here and there to indulge themselves and to give themselves this little treat and this little reward. And there's nothing wrong with treating and rewarding yourself and indulging. After all, that's one of the ways in which you're going to be enjoying the money that you're earning. And what you need to do, however, is to look at how economical is it? Because though it might be that you're spending small amounts of money each time, it might not be the most economical way to indulge. And you could have great indulgences at a more economical cost. So instead, what you want to look at is look at one great indulgence that you're going to give yourself each month, and then work towards that, which means you will cut out the small little things that you do to indulge, which adds up to great cost. And then what you do is you put that towards your great indulgence and make sure that you shop around so that you can get deals and offers on that great indulgence and save some of the money that you would have spent if you were doing those little treats, rewards, and indulgence throughout the month. And after we've done all of those four, if we're still finding it difficult to make enough room in our finances to be able to get ourselves out of the red as quickly as we want, then we need to look at number 5 is to generate a new stream of income. In doing so, this might not mean that you're doing this for a long term. It might just mean that you're doing this for a short period of time. It might be that you are using some of your skill set from your career that you're currently in, where there are opportunities for you to have some additional job. It could be overtime. It could be other ways in which you can utilize your time and your skill in that regard to then be able to create an additional income so that you are better able to get through the crises of the red that you're in, and then try to see how best you can utilize all of these 5 strategies to then be able to get yourself out of the red rather quickly. Remember, financial literacy is revolutionary. It has transformed my life, and I believe it could do the same to yours.